Welcome back, everybody, to Zlatan's Fight Picks. Today we will go over the fight card for UFC Fight Night Paris, France. Moicano versus Saint Denis this Saturday, September 28th. This is an extra podcast prediction video I'm making. Normally I do one a month with the pay-per-views, but there was a bye week and I managed to get this done. So I thought I would throw this out there this week to everyone, and hopefully I'll get to do more, but no promises on that one. But we did do this one, so we're getting it out a little early comparatively. It's a Tuesday. So let's start. We will do it as usual, starting from the first fight and moving on to the main event. First fight of the night. Bolaji Oki versus Chris Duncan. Bolaji Oki, 5'10", 73-inch reach, 9 wins, 1 loss, 28 years old. Chris Duncan, 5'10", 71.5-inch reach, 11 wins, 2 losses, 31 years old. Bolaji Oki, he fought once in the UFC. He did pretty good. It was a split decision loss against Kwamba, who was a 145er moving up to 155. Bolaji Oki had the advantage in the jabs, a little faster, good striking, but nevertheless, it was a close fight. Kwamba did manage to mix it up. He did some strikes and took him down a few times. He's a relative newcomer, so we don't know a lot about him, but he seems very fast. He's got a quick jab. He seems to have pretty good takedown defense, but being on the ground is not where he wants to be. He wants to be on his feet. He's very explosive. Seems like he has a decent amount of power, good body shots. So I kind of went back and forth on this one with Chris Duncan, 5'10", 71.5-inch reach, 11 wins, 2 losses, 31 years old. When he first came to the UFC, Chris Duncan almost got knocked out by Charlie Campbell, and he came back, survived it, and knocked out Charlie Campbell. He does have a lot of power in his right hand. I find him a little slow, but he is powerful. He's very durable as well. He seems like he's really been working on his ground game and his takedowns, and his path to victory in this one will be to take Oki down. Now, will Oki be able to withstand Chris Duncan attack of trying to take down? I think Oki can definitely jab him from the outside. I think Duncan's got some power. Oki's got to be careful that he doesn't land. Oki seems like he's fairly durable, but in the end, Chris Duncan's got to close the distance and get the takedowns. This is going to be a very kind of grinding, sloppy, close fight. I went back and forth. I think Oki should win this, but I have this feeling I'm going to take a dog shot on Chris Duncan. Oki, I think he's from Belgium. I don't think he's French, but right next door, speaks French, I guess, moved to Belgium. I think he's from in Belgium, lives in Belgium now, originally from Africa. So I'm going to go with Chris Duncan. Again, this fight card, you'll find like most of these guys are either French or European, and Duncan, he's from Scotland, I believe. So it's in the area, so it's going to be, it's not like a French versus Scottish. It's kind of more like Belgium versus Scotland. And I'm always playing that into a decision because it's in France. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I kind of went back and forth on this one, and just seeing how Oki was taken down by Kwamba, who was a 145er moving to 155. I think that if Duncan can take Oki to the ground, I think he'll be strong enough to possibly grind him along the fence and hold him down and win minutes. And this is going to be a decision type of fight. So I'm picking Duncan by decision on this one. It's going to be very close. Low level confidence on this one. Duncan is an underdog on this one as well. I think he's plus 170 now or plus 180. Moving on, Nora Cornell versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Nora Cornell, 5'7", 67-inch reach, 8 wins, 1 loss, 34 years old. Jacqueline Cavalcanti, 5'8", 68-inch reach, 7 wins, 1 loss, 27 years old. Nora Cornell, she is, I think she's a Thai boxer. I know she's a striker and she comes from a discipline of striking. She's 34 years old, so she's at the peak of her physical ability, but she is developing as a mixed martial artist. That's something that she kind of took in the last few years. In the first fight we saw, she was susceptible to being taken down. I think she fought Jocelyn Edwards. It was a really close fight. I remember picking her. She was like a plus 230 or plus 250 underdog in that one. And she won a split decision against Jocelyn Edwards. So it was a really good bet. And that was back in Paris, France. The next time we saw her, we saw her fighting No Mess Mullins, and everyone was going on Mullins. Cornell being a big underdog again, I went with her. And she managed to survive the takedowns of Mullins, and she ended up KOing Mullins. And what I found for Cornell was her takedown defense drastically improved from the fight previous to that fight. And I was really impressed with how good her takedown defense was. And on the feet, she's a striker. So she was a very good striker, landed a lot of good body shots, very effective. And Jacqueline Cavalcanti, I've always found her to be a very grappler, like grappling heavy grappler. And she's really been working on her striking and her jabs. She's kind of long and she's got a quick jab. And she fought Nunez last time, Jocelyn Nunez. And it was a close fight. Surprisingly, a split decision. I thought she clearly won that fight. But she had a hard time with Nunez taking her to the ground. Nunez had pretty good takedown defense. And Cavalcanti generally is, I think, her strengths are the ground. But she has shown huge improvements in the jab, and she ended up basically outstriking Nunez from distance because Nunez was much shorter. So this is going to be a close fight. You know, I'm going to go 3 times a charm. I'm going to pick Cornell as the underdog to upset Cavalcanti. I think Cavalcanti has got a good jab. She's a good striker, but Cornell's a natural striker. Cavalcanti could resort to her grappling, but seeing how much Cornell has improved in her grappling defense and how hard it was for Cavalcanti to take Nunez and to keep Nunez on the ground. I'm going to go with a dog shot. Cornell is from France as well. I think Cavalcanti's Portuguese. I don't know if she's from Portugal or a Brazilian that moved to Portugal or something like that. Nevertheless, I'm going to go with Cornell. It's going to be a second dog shot. Like I'm kind of going for the dogs on this lower level card, lower level fighters in the first fights. I mean, anything could happen in these fights. I think they're going to be close fights no matter what. So I'm going to go with the dog shot on Cornell as well on this one. I think she's going to be able to keep it on the feet. I think it's going to be a close fight. In the end, Cornell is the natural striker in this. And if Cavalcanti does take it to the ground, I think Cornell can get back up. Yeah, so it's going to be a dog shot again. Moving on, Daniel Barrez versus Victor Altamirano. Daniel Barrez, 5'6", 66-inch reach, 16 wins, 6 losses, 35 years old. Victor Altamirano, 5'8", 70-inch reach, 12 wins, 4 losses, 0 draws, 33 years old. Daniel Barrez, he's from Spain, so he's right next door to France. So he is the European fighter here. He signed a contract with the UFC. I can't remember who he fought last time. Who did he fight? I know he fought, what's that guy? Hernandez. And he had a split decision loss against Hernandez. And I think Altamirano had a split decision loss against Hernandez. And I think Hernandez is a pretty good boxer, decent wrestler. And I think that Hernandez has been kind of staying the status quo. And I've seen Altamirano make some pretty big improvements in his fighting style. And you saw after he lost the he I'm looking sorry um, he Perez ended up fighting Filo and lost by sub, but he had rocked Filo to the body and started off like gangbusters. And I've seen that Perez starts off really fast and really hurts his opponents. He's very strong. He's good striker. He's good on the ground. He's good. He's well rounded. Very durable and very stout and very. He's just a really strong mixed martial artist. And Altamirano's going to have his handful, where Altamirano's got strength, but he's kind of long and lanky, and Perez seems very sturdy and stout. Um, he lost against Filo to a sub, but he did hurt Filo to the body. And I saw him even when the Hernandez fight. He came out really strong in the first half of the first round. So he starts out strong, and he seems like he just doesn't necessarily fade, but he can't keep that level of intensity up for the whole fight. Even though he is very strong, he doesn't fade that much. He just really starts strong in the first 2.5 minutes of the fight. He was the favorite in this one. So, but now he's the underdog, so it's kind of flipped over. I think he's very well rounded. He's 35 years old. I think he's at peak, or he's not gonna get any better. So what we saw from him before is what we're gonna see here now. Victor Altamirano, I've seen him improve. Last fight he fought, he lost the fight, and I actually bet against Altamirano, and I was really worried about that fight, and he ended up losing that fight in a split decision, and they could have easily gone to him against Dos Santos. So I think he's fought the better competition. He fought Elliott before that. He fought Salvador. He lost a split decision to Hernandez, which could have gone either way. And I don't know. I see enough improvements in Altamirano where I think he's going to be able to beat Perez in this one. It's going to be a split decision type of fight. It's a very close fight. And Victor Altamirano was the underdog. Now he's actually a slight favorite. So Victor Altamirano is going to be the pick by decision. Moving on. Daria Zelezniakova versus Ailin Perez. Daria Zelezniakova, 5'9", 68 inch reach, 9 wins, 1 loss, 28 years old. Ailin Perez, 5'5", 66 inch reach, 10 wins, 2 losses, 29 years old. You know what? I never liked betting on Ailin Perez just because she's a little short, she's got a little heavy, but she's always fighting in these really close fights. It seems like she also fades in the third round. They're always nail biters in a way, right? But she seems like she's got a pretty good ground game. She's very low, got a low center of gravity, and she takes girls down, and she knows how to keep them down. She's pretty good at that, and tends to win the first 2 rounds, and then fades in the third and loses the third. So it's never easy watching her fights, and they're always going to be close. Daria Zelezniakova, she's going to be the taller fighter. She's going to have the longer reach. She's a good striker. She's got decent takedown defense, but I don't think she's fought a really high level of competition. And I think that she's going to have the advantage from distance, but we find Perez finding a way to land her jab and to land her low kicks, and she's very busy, so she manages to get in. And once she gets in, she has really good takedowns. She's got good wrestling takedowns, and she's pretty good on the ground. And I think she's going to be able to control Zelezniakova long enough to win this fight and grind out a decision. So Ailin Perez is going to be the pick. It's going to be a decision, and it's going to go to the end. No one's finishing anybody in this fight. So Perez is going to be the pick just because I think she's fought the better competition. I think she's going to take it to the ground, just win a really kind of dirty, grindy, messy fight. Zelezniakova is going to be looking good on the outside until she gets taken down. So Ailin Perez is going to be the pick. Moving on, Taylor Lapilus versus Vince Morales. Taylor Lapilus, 5'6", 73-inch reach, 20 wins, 4 losses, 32 years old. Vince Morales, 5'9", 70-inch reach, 16 wins, 3 losses, 33 years old. Vince Morales was in the UFC, I think, and then he got let go, and now he just got signed to fight last minute Taylor Lapilus. Taylor Lapilus has really impressed me. He seems like he's getting better and better. He's got great striking from the outside. He's got super long arms, and his takedown defense has really improved. And I think his grappling in general has really improved. He's got to keep this fight on the feet. Vince Morales is a pretty well-rounded mixed martial artist. He's got some power on the feet. He's pretty good on the ground. So he's actually not an easy out, even though Taylor Lapilus is a pretty big favorite in this one. And he should be. I think he's going to be the better fighter. I think Vince Morales is definitely UFC level, but just barely UFC level. I think he's going to lose this fight. I think Lapilus has been training. Not Vince Morales is not going to be ready, but I think Lapilus is going to have the good striking from the outside. He's got to be careful. Morales is still dangerous, still got some KO power. Taylor Lapilus is going to be the pick. He is a fairly big favorite, so I don't know if you can even bet on it. Well, no, he's not that big of a favorite. He's bet-able, but it's on the cusp. Taylor Lapilus is going to be the pick. Decent amount of confidence on this one. Yeah, moving on. But he is the French guy in this one. Moving on to Ludwig Klein versus Roosevelt Roberts. Ludwig Klein, 5'7", 72.5-inch reach, 21 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 29 years old. Roosevelt Roberts, 6'2", 73-inch reach, 12 wins, 5 losses, 30 years old. Huge height advantage. Not so much reach, but there's going to be a reach advantage as well. Roosevelt Roberts, good from the outside. He's been working on his takedown defense and his ground defense. He's a striker. Ludwig Klein, good striker, good on the ground. Apart from Roosevelt Roberts catching Ludwig Klein and knocking him out, which is the only path to victory for him, Ludwig Klein should have an easy time of this. I don't think Roosevelt Roberts, I think he's barely UFC level. And Klein has fought, he's fought at a very high level. He's still fighting at a high level. Not much to say. I think Ludwig Klein has the advantages everywhere. Roosevelt Roberts is a good striker. He's going to have a reach advantage. He's going to hopefully catch him. He's going to try catch him coming in from the outside and jabbing him. So Klein's going to have a little bit of a problem trying to get in on him. But once he does, he's going to have probably some pretty good punches, pretty good power, and maybe knock out Roberts or take him down and ground and pound him. Ludwig Klein, high degree of confidence. Not much to say about this fight. I don't think Roosevelt Roberts is at the level of Klein. He's just going to have a huge height advantage and reach advantage. That's it. Moving on. Omar Sy versus Da Woon Jung. Omar Sy, 6'4" tall, 83-inch reach, 10 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, 28 years old. Da Woon Jung, 6'4", 78.5-inch reach, 15 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, 30 years old. Omar Sy is new, so we don't really know a lot about him. He looked really good in the last fight, but he fought a guy who wasn't even in the UFC. And they put him in the UFC just to fight Omar Sy. So he kind of dominated that fight. He seems like he's a really powerful, really durable. Seems like he's got decent strikes. He has some KOs on his record, but he's a ground guy. He wants to take you to the ground and just grind on you and try to submit you and ground and pound you and everything else. Da Woon Jung, he's very dangerous on the feet. He's got decent takedown defense, but you've seen him get submitted by a guy who is not a submission guy, which was Blackjack Carlos Ulberg. Da Woon Jung's got one path to victory here. He needs to knock out Omar Sy. He's not going to win it any other way. If it goes to a decision, I think Omar Sy is going to get the decision. Unless, of course, Omar Sy cannot take Da Woon Jung down, which I've seen Da Woon Jung being taken down by Devin Clark. I have a sneaky suspicion Omar Sy, being so tall and so long, is going to be able to get close to Da Woon Jung and take him down and grind out a decision. I think it's good. It's one of those fights where we don't know enough about Sai, and Jung does have some power, and I've seen him knock out guys who are hard to knock out. So if there's going to be an upset, it's going to be Davun Jung by KO. But Sai should win this. He is a fairly big favorite for a reason. Davun Jung does have a problem when he gets on the ground to get back up. He's like a blue level, BJJ kind of thing. And then you got Omar Sy. I don't know if he's a black belt, but he seems like he's pretty good on the ground. So Omar Sy is going to be the pick. High degree of confidence. I'd be careful with this one just because the unknowns, and with the odds being so stacked against Sy, he's definitely not bettable. Especially this early in his career, we don't know enough about him, but he's 6'4", huge reach advantage, very strong, very powerful, good on the ground. So Omar Sy. Moving on, Ion Cutelaba versus Ivan Erslan. Ion Cutelaba, 6'1", 75-inch reach, 17 wins, 10 losses, 1 draw, 30 years old. Ivan Erslan, 6'2", 75-inch reach, 14 wins, 3 losses, 32 years old. I don't like betting on Ion Cutelaba. I don't. He's normally coming out either KOing or submitting, or he's burning the gas kind of thing in the first round and halfway through the second round and running out of steam, and then basically getting finished or beaten up really bad in the later rounds, and losing the fights. But last fight, you saw him pace himself, and he seemed like he did a lot better at pacing himself. Even though he lost the fight, he actually, changed up his fighting style. And here's the thing. Does that make him less dangerous? And is he just going to end up finishing fights but never winning fights? But he seemed a little more durable than I've seen him, because I've seen him get finished quite often. And I think maybe it's got more to do with him being tired, I guess, because he fought Felipe Lins and he, got beat up, but he managed to survive. It was a close fight, kind of 2 rounds to 1. You've seen him KO people, you've seen him get KO'd, and but he has fought a really high level of competition. You got Ivan Erslan, who's not a champion of the division. I watched a few fights from him. He's very durable. He's a boxer. He doesn't look like he throws a lot of kicks. He's got good takedown defense, but he doesn't try to take people down that much. He's going to have a hard time taking down Cutelaba. I think Cutelaba has a path to victory to try to take him down. I don't know how much energy he's going to use, because Erslan seems like he's got pretty good takedown defense. Cutelaba does have some pretty good striking. Erslan seems like he's very durable as well. So it's going to be a back and forth fight. Cutelaba slight favorite. I think he should be the favorite. He's fought the better competition. Erslan, it's hard to tell how good he's going to do against this higher level of competition. I'm going to go with Cutelaba on this one, even though I don't really like betting on him, but I think he's going to win this fight. I think it's going to go down to a decision. I think he's going to fight him smart and end up winning this decision in particular, because he normally doesn't win by decision. He usually loses. He usually wins by KO or loses by KO or loses by sub. I mean, I'm looking at his record. How often, when did he go? I'm looking for a decision. He lost a decision, but against the Kenanye, he won a decision, and this is 2016. After that, he had a draw with Justin Jacoby, and he had in 2021, and Devin Clark won a unanimous decision. And a unanimous decision now, but most of the fights are either KOs or subs. Like, this is going over like 8 years. So it's KO or sub, but it looks like he's going back to, kind of managing his energy better, but he has fought some pretty good guys. So Cutelaba is going to be the pick. Lower level confidence. You just don't know what you're going to get with this guy. Erslan, at the end of the day, is a good striker. Has got some power, and he could end up KOing Cutelaba. Moving on to the main card. Those are all the prelims. let's start off with starting off. I don't know if this is the exact order. I think they're going to move it around, but this is what I got originally. I think they moved some stuff around. Nevertheless, Fares Ziam versus Matt Favola. Fares Ziam, 6'1", 75-inch reach, 15 wins, 4 losses, 27 years old. Matt Favola, 5'10", 71-inch reach, 11 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 34 years old. Fares Ziam is the French fighter. He is the favorite in this one. And I'm going to do something totally different here. Fares Ziam, 6'1". I find him very durable. He's excellent striker. He's really long. He's tall for the weight class, and he's really been working on his takedown defense. Got pretty good takedown defense, and he's pretty good on the ground. He's getting better. I mean, you got Matt Favola, who's going to be he's going to be shorter. He's going to have the 4-inch disadvantage in reach. He's very powerful. He's going to have to close the distance. He's a decent striker. He's a good wrestler. I don't think he's great in BJJ as much as he's great at takedowns. So I think Ziam's going to have a problem with Favola. And here's the thing. Favola is actually the underdog. And normally, I think in the last few fights, I've never bet on Favola. And in the last few fights, I've always bet on Ziam. But I'm actually going to flip it around this time. Even though Favola is the underdog, I've bet on Ziam in all the fights. I was really disappointed in how bad he looked against Puelas when Puelas was taking him down. Even though Puelas didn't submit him, and he was a good submitter, he had lost a split decision loss to Puelas. He was hurting Puelas. He won a decision against Herbert, which striker against striker, tall guy against tall guy. He won a decision against Figlak. That's not saying much. McKinney ended up subbing him. So, I mean, he's very durable. He's very tall, very lanky. I don't find him very strong. I find him durable, but not strong. He's very, very skinny, and there's not a lot of power, especially when he gets on the ground. He has a hard time getting guys off of him. And Favola is a very powerful guy. And this is going to be a case where Favola is going to take him down. And is he going to get enough ground control to win this fight? Because I don't see this fight ending. I see this fight going to a decision. And you look at Favola, he's fought some decent guys. He wins a lot by KO or loses by KO. But he is a good wrestler. And if you saw the last fight against Saint Denis, even though he lost by KO, and Saint Denis fighting him, as the featured main event. So, he's fought the best of the best. He ended up KOing Dover, so he has KO power. I don't think he's going to be able to KO Ziam. I think Ziam's smarter than that. Not that he can't, it's just Ziam's a pretty good striker. That's his forte. He's got good defense. But in Saint Denis, like you saw Favola take Saint Denis down twice. And even though the exchanges were heated, I think Saint Denis might have gotten an advantage on some of the exchanges, but Favola kept taking him down, and so he has enough takedowns or ability to take Ziam down. I think Ziam has good takedown defense, but I don't think he's got great takedown defense against a really good wrestler. I think he's got better takedown defense when he's up against the fence and somebody's trying to grind him and take him down and almost like, trip him or something like that. But Favola is very explosive. He's got a lot of power. And I think his explosive wrestling takedowns are going to get Ziam to the ground. I don't know if he can control him on the ground, but that's going to be the battle right there. He's going to be a low confidence pick that Favola ends up winning this by decision just because of the ground. The amount of times he's going to be able to take Ziam down. Otherwise, on the feet, you're dealing with Ziam, who's going to be striking him from the outside and maybe outstrike him and outland him, where Favola's still going to be landing the harder shots, but less. So Favola's going to be the pick. Low level confidence. He is the underdog on this one. Moving on. Morgan Charrier versus Gabriel Miranda. Morgan Charrier, 5'8", 69-inch reach, 19 wins, 10 losses, 28 years old. Gabriel Miranda, 5'11", 71-inch reach, 17 wins, 6 losses, 34 years old. Morgan Charrier is like minus 850. Huge favorite on this one. Gabriel Miranda, I think he's a little underrated. You know, he's got good size for the division. He's really good on the ground, very dangerous. But you know what? You got Morgan Charrier, who just fought a really dangerous guy, Chepe, the last fight, and I picked Chepe. Chepe won, but it was a close fight. I was really impressed with how well Morgan Charrier did on the ground once he was taken to the ground, and I think Chepe's got pretty good takedowns. I don't think Gabriel Miranda has great takedowns. I think he's great when he's on the ground. I think taking him to the ground is going to be very difficult. I think Charrier is hard to take down. I think Charrier is very explosive, very good striker. Miranda's a decent striker. He is going to have a reach advantage, but I think Charrier is going to be able to outland him. I don't think he's taking Charrier to the ground. So high level of confidence. Charrier is a huge favorite. Apart from something lucky, Charrier is going to take this fight fairly easily. I don't know if easily is the word, but I'm fairly confident he's going to win. So Charrier is going to be the pick. He is the French guy. Moving on. Sorry. Nasruddin Imavov versus Brendan Allen. As Nasruddin Imavov, 6'3", 75-inch reach, 14 wins, 4 losses, 0 draws, 29 years old. Brendan Allen, 6'2", 75-inch reach, 24 wins, 5 losses, 28 years old. Almost identical in height. Nasruddin Imavov really impressed me with the last fight when he actually stopped Cannonier, which is French for Cannonier. Surprisingly, he's got a French name, but he is not the French fighter. And Imavov does not have a French name, and he is the French fighter. So, he fought Cannonier, and ended up TKOing him in the 4th round. I thought it was a really close fight, but Cannonier has fought the best of the best. He fought Dolidze, majority decision. I was surprised it was a majority decision. I thought it was a fairly clear victory for Imavov. He fought a Curtis no contest, and I thought he was winning that fight up to that point with an eye poke. He fought against Strickland. Since the Buckley fight, he kind of, wore down, and Buckley started getting to the better of him in the 3rd round. He lost against Strickland. I really saw him improve. These last 2 years, I've seen this guy make some, not even 2 years. In the last 3 fights, I saw him make some pretty big improvements. He's using his brains. I thought he's fairly emotional in there. I don't think he had really good control of himself. Hopefully he has now. But his striking is really good, and he seems like he's got better and better takedown defense. So he's very big and very long, and just really big for this division. Like, even though Allen's the same height, Imavov just seems like he's more powerful. But don't underestimate Allen. He has made some huge improvements in this division as well, and his ability to submit guys that are submission artists has impressed me. So he is very dangerous. And, he beat Chris Curtis in a split decision, which I thought he lost that split decision. He submitted Paul Craig, which is, neither here nor there. Paul Craig can submit anybody, but then he can lose against anyone and get hurt. He ended up winning a submission against Bruno Silva, and he's a hard guy to submit. Andre Muniz, again, submission guy. So, overall, I think Imavov has fought the better competition. He's made some huge improvements. I think Allen's made some decent amount of improvements. Apart from some weird submission, I can think that Imavov's going to be winning this fight from the outside in the strikes. Even though Allen has developed his striking, I think Imavov is going to be a little bit faster from the outside with his kicks. I think Allen's got decent striking, but kind of sneaky power. But Imavov's got, I think, crisper striking. I think he's going to win this decision. Apart from something weird happening, mid-level confidence. I think Imavov's on his way up, and so is Allen. It's going to be a close fight. Honestly, I really thought about taking Allen, But after I saw how well Imavov did against Cannonier, I don't know. I think Imavov's going to take this one. He's got a little bit of momentum. He's fought the better competition as well. Moving on. Kevin Jousset versus Brian Battle. Kevin Jousset, 6'2", 72-inch reach, 10 wins, 2 losses, 31 years old. Brian Battle, 6'1", 77-inch reach, 11 wins, 2 losses, 29 years old. I have been betting and not kind of 50-50 with Kevin Jousset. I find him to be a really, really tall for the division, really big, really powerful, great strikes, great jab, but he's very hittable. But to his credit, he's got a chin on him, and he's been absorbing anything, and he seems like a rock. Doesn't seem like he's getting phased at all when he gets hit by really powerful shots. I don't know how long that's going to last, but nevertheless, he's really durable, and he sits there in the pocket, and he'll throw jabs, throw punches, and he'll absorb all of it. I haven't seen him on the ground yet. Well, we saw him against Crosby on the ground, but I think it was a knockdown or something like that. I can't remember. But Kenan Seong, it was just Song Kenan. I can't remember if he took him to the ground, but it was. I mean, he just basically manhandled him and it outstruck him, and it was very powerful striking. I just don't know where his ceiling's at, and I don't know if Brian Battle's past the ceiling that he's going to be already. But I think he's too hittable. I think Brian Battle is very cerebral. He's got good game plan. He's very well rounded. He's good on the ground. Great gas tank. Jousset's got a great gas tank. Brian Battle's very durable. Jousset's going to be very durable. This is going to be a great fight. But I think Brian Battle he's more refined. He's fought the better competition. I've got to go with Brian Battle on this one. Even though Jousset has been looking decent and he can take a punch, but I think he takes too many punches, and I think he's going to lose because of that. I think Brian Battle, slick striker, not super slick, but decent striker, very effective. I think he's going to land more. I think he's just going to win him on the decision, and he might be able to take him down, might be able to grind on him. I think Jousset's still going to get back up. No one's going to get submitted here. He's very, very powerful as well, very strong, Jousset is. And so, but Battle's decent, but he's got good leverage, good technique. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Brian Battle on this one, on a decision. Mid-level confidence. Jousset is the French fighter, by the way. So I didn't pick all French fighters. Moving on, William Gomez versus Joanderson Brito. William Gomez, 6 foot tall, 73-inch reach, 13 wins, 2 losses, 27 years old. Joanderson Brito, 5'8", 72-inch reach, 17 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 28 years old. Gomez is always going to be difficult to fight because he's so long. And again, he's 4-inch reach advantage, good striking on the outside. But, he doesn't have a lot of power. He's not very powerful on the ground. I don't think he's that strong. He's got good leverage because of his length, and he's kind of got those, strong, kind of lanky strong. But Joanderson Brito is just a beast. He's a good striker, good on the ground, hard to submit, hard to knock out. I've got a high level of confidence in Brito. Gomez, I've seen him fight and have problems with guys that are very low level. Brito has fought the very high level, and he's even beat Lopes in his contender series, or Dana White contender series. So you've seen, and I granted Lopes has improved hugely, but Brito has been manhandling a lot of guys. I can't see this going I could see it going to a decision. Well, I don't know if I can see it going to a decision. Brito has been able to knock people out, submit people, and even though Gomez is hard to do that too, Brito is going to win this fight. I can't see Gomez winning or beating Brito anywhere apart from trying to stay away from him, and at the end of his jab, I just can't see him staying away for very long. Brito is very powerful, is very fast, good striker, good kicks, good on the ground. He's going to win this fight. High degree of confidence. Gomez is the French fighter though, but still, I don't think he's going to win this one. Moving on. Renato Moicano versus Benoit Saint Denis. Renato Moicano, 5'11", 72-inch reach, 19 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, 35 years old. Benoit Saint Denis, 5'11", 73-inch reach, 13 wins, 2 losses, 28 years old. I like Moicano. I bet on Moicano all the time, and he has won me quite a bit of money. And you know what? He's hard to predict because, you know, you've seen him get finished, but it's by the top level guys, you know. But then again, he's very tough. He's very durable. He can get hurt, but he can recover. You know, he won a unanimous decision against Dober, and it was a very tough fight, but he managed to get him to the ground enough to win that fight. He was, I thought, well, he was winning the fight, and then he got hurt by Turner. He lost the first round. He came back, and he ended up, you know, TKOing Turner. He submitted Riddell. He lost to Dos Anjos last minute fight, who kept taking him down over and over again. It just goes to show how good Dos Anjos is. He beat Anthony Hernandez, or Alexander Hernandez. And then, you know, he lost quite a few fights, but he lost the TKO to Fiziev. You know, he fought the Korean Zombie, he lost. He fought Jose Aldo, he lost. So, I mean, the guys he lost to were just the upper echelon guys. We think that Saint Denis is that upper echelon guy, or he's definitely at the cusp of that upper echelon. So this is going to be a good, close fight. It's going to be 5 rounds. Saint Denis just lost the fight last time to Dustin Poirier by KO, even though he was winning that fight with his takedowns. I don't know if he wants to be on the ground with Moicano, so he's going to have to stay on the feet. So he's going to stay on the feet, he's going to kick him, he's going to punch him, and Saint Denis is going to go all out, guns a-blazing, put a lot of pressure on Moicano. Moicano's a little tricky. He does have power in his hands, and he's not careful. Saint Denis, who I thought had an impenetrable chin, did get chin checked by Poirier, but Poirier is a much better striker than Moicano, even though Moicano has this sneaky power about him, right? And what's that? Sorry, I'm looking over this. Yeah, so I mean, I want to take the dog shot with Moicano because I think he's really good on the ground. I think when he gets on the ground, I think Saint Denis can get up off the ground, but a lot of times when I saw him getting up off the ground against certain fighters, he was leaving his neck out like nobody's business. And I don't know if Moicano is the kind of guy you want to do that to, because I know against Poirier or Frevola, I remember Frevola, when Frevola would take him down, Saint Denis would just get back up. And mind you, he'd power his way up, but a lot of the times he'd power his way up in a way where he was leaving his neck wide open. And Frevola wasn't able to take advantage of that. Now, either it's because Saint Denis was so powerful and so fast, but you get a guy who's a submission expert like Moicano, and you do that to him, I don't know if he can't take advantage of that and possibly submit you. So, you know, I went back and forth. I want to take the dog shot. This is kind of a mid to low level confidence pick. I'm going to go with Saint Denis. You know, Moicano's 35 years old, and if he doesn't catch Saint Denis, I think Saint Denis is going to win a decision on this one. I think Moicano's going to have a hard time taking Saint Denis down. I don't think Saint Denis wants to take Moicano down. I think he wants to keep it on the feet. So I'm going to go with a decision to Saint Denis kind of thing. But if Saint Denis is not careful and, you know, Moicano can't take him down, he tries to get back up the wrong way, he can get submitted in this one. So, you know, mid to low level confidence on Saint Denis. He is the French fighter. I am a fan of Moicano. It was tough. I'm not saying that I'm not going to have a small bet on Moicano by sub, because I probably will. But for picking sake, I'm going to pick Saint Denis. That's it. Let's go over the board real quick. How's that look? Let's see. Close already. There we go. All right. Again, not financial advice. Bet only what you're willing to lose. This is my picks. Do your own research, compare it to what I've got to say, and maybe combine that information and make your own pick. I'm going in roughly the most confident, the least confident. I mean, there's various reasons why I've got these guys up here. Sometimes it's because of odds. Sometimes it's because I'm really, truly believe it that they're the most confident, but it's more usually a combination of both. So there is a method to the madness, but nevertheless, this is my most confident, the least confident. Compare it to your own research and then possibly create either picks, bets, or parlays using all the information you have. Most confident, Klein. Can't see Roosevelt Roberts beating him anywhere. He's minus 1,000. I would say don't bother. Charrier, again, showed great talent. He lost a split decision to Chepe. Minus 850, not bettable, but he's going to be the pick. Sai, unknown. Even though he looks really good, really powerful, he has not fought anybody in the UFC. So hard to say how good he's going to look against Jung. Jung has looked hot and cold. I mean, I've seen him knock out guys I didn't expect him to knock out. Then I see him get knocked out against guys I didn't expect to knock him out. But he is susceptible to be taken down. This is his forte. He has been submitted. This is his forte. So I'm going to go with Sai. But if you want to take a dog shot on Jung, you can. But I mean, high degree of confidence that Sai should do this. I don't think it's bettable at minus 450 anyway. So if you are going to bet, I mean, for some shits and giggles and whatever, Jung could be the guy. I mean, I don't think he's going to win, but I mean, at minus 450, a guy who hasn't fought anyone in the UFC, Next, Lapalus. He looked really good last few fights, fighting from distance. And very good striker. Seems like he's got decent takedown defense. And he's fighting a guy who was in the UFC, then got cut, and he's coming back. Not that he's a bad fighter, actually. I've seen him fight. He seemed very decent. Like, I was surprised, actually, he got cut. I think he just lost too many times, but he fought some decent competition. So Lapalus is going to, it's not going to be easy, but he should win this. And the other guy's taking it on short notice. Brito, I got him here. Brito's going to win this. I'm surprised at the odds on Brito. Maybe I'm not seeing something. I mean, minus 275, I think is very good odds for Brito in this position. Brian Battle, I think he's just going to be the more experienced, more well-rounded, take less shots, win a decision type of guy against Kevin Jusset. Battle's going to be the pick. Imavov, Allen. Imavov's going to be the pick. I've just got this marked down. If you want to take a dog shot on Allen, I mean, you never know what can happen. I'm going to pick Imavov. Allen does have a path to victory. He's, there's quite a few people that have always underestimated this guy, but I think Imavov is going to win. Saint Denis, again, he should win this. Moicano does have a path to victory. I've got it marked down here for a reason. Very dangerous fighter. He should win this, but he has a path to victory. Perez, I mean, I think Perez is going to win this. Lower level confidence, but I can't see betting on Daria. Perez should win this like she wins all the other fights with a low level competition. 2 rounds to 1 by taking the first 2 rounds, by taking them to the ground and ground and pounding and trying to submit them in control time. Altamirano, I've seen him improve. I think the guy he's fighting fought the same guys and got the same decisions. I think he's improved enough to win this fight. Kutalaba, I don't normally like betting on him, but the guy he's fighting, I don't think he's good on the ground. He's durable. He's got good boxing, and I think Kutalaba is better or is more well-rounded, fought the better competition. He should win this. The guy he's fighting is not from France, he's from Croatia. Normally I like betting on Croatian fighters, they're pretty tough. But I think Kutalaba is fighting a level of competition that he can win. Moving on, Frivola over ZM. I'm surprised that Frivola is the underdog. I'm thinking he's going to win. I think ZM is decent striker, got good leverage, good at distance. I think Frivola can close the distance, take him down, and have enough control time to win this fight by decision. Cornell, again, decent size underdog. I saw some good improvements from the takedowns last time. Hopefully, the girl she was fighting was a lower level than Cavalcanti, but Cornell did stuff her takedowns. I think she can keep it on the feet. If she keeps it on the feet, even though Cavalcanti's got a great jab, it's going to be a little bit taller. I think Cornell, at the end of the day, is a natural striker, so she's going to win this by decision. Moving on, Duncan. I think Okies might be the better striker. I think Duncan can grind this one out with control time. It's going to be a close split decision type of fight. But Duncan's tough, and if he can just get to the hips, he's very strong. I think he can take Oki down. Hopefully he has the energy to go 3 rounds like that. Really grueling. That's it. And kind of went over decisions kind of thing. I didn't write it down, but went over verbally over who I thought was going to go to a decision and possibly who I thought was going to win by KO and sub. Nevertheless. All right. Well, we got this out on a Tuesday, which is, if it wasn't for the bye week, it would never happen. But nevertheless, don't forget to hit the like if you like the content. Subscribe if you want to get notified when I do get my videos out. Unfortunately, I'm not consistent except for the fact that I'm going to get all the pay-per-views out. The other ones I do get out whenever I can. Other than that, I think there's a buy me a coffee link. If you win, buy me a coffee. Otherwise, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the picks and if you agree or you disagree with any of them, and let me know why. I'm always curious to see other people's opinions, see if I've analyzed this correctly, and compare notes before the fight. It'll be exciting, actually. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining me. Have a great week and good luck on your bets this Saturday.